It's bullshit if you ask me. I don't know who the hell did it. Don't know why they did it. But I'm pissed. And I want my true reality back. And I think everyone in the Mandela effect community should be pissed off as well. This isn't a rebuttal of the Mandela effect. I'm part of it. I know exactly where the Statue of Liberty used to be because I passed that son of a bitch up in 1981 when my ship pulled into New York Harbor to dock in New York City. I passed it up on the way in and on the way out because it was on Ellis Island. And if shit like that's going to change, I want it reversed. I want it back to normal. Unfortunately, you people all seem to think, well, there's a plan in mind. It's beyond us. Nothing is beyond us if we put our minds to it. Nothing. Why do you think this happened? Because people put their minds to it. Somebody stole our reality, and we need to find out who, and we need to get it reversed. I don't know how. I don't know when. But we need to start working on it. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's CERN. Others are saying it's D-Wave computers. Others are saying it's God. I don't know. I know my mind's been messed up. I used to be a real hard ass, and I've become a softie over the last few years. And I was an atheist up until about 3 years ago. And I had no plans of ever changing. But that doesn't make up for the fact that our reality has been stolen from us. Just because I now believe in God and I've gotten soft-hearted does not mean I've completely lost my edge. I want to find out who the hell did it. I want to know why they did it. And I want them to reverse it. I want our reality back. And I don't give a damn what it takes. And if you had any sense about you, you would too. Instead of just looking, oh, hey, this changed and that changed. Ain't this neat? Fuck that. I want our reality back. You people should want our reality back too, but apparently none of you do. You just want to go on, living your life, not caring about what the hell's going on. And it's disgusting. People say, oh, you're just going through the 5 stages of grief. You're in the anger stage. I've been in the anger stage for the last fucking 3 years. I've had shit stolen from me, and the anger doesn't last that long. I do hold a grudge forever, but this is more personal. And I'm telling you what, if I find out who did it, I am personally going to go ape shit on their ass. If I have to steal away to get to them. So, to those of you out there in the Mandela effect community who think, oh, we should just live and let live, go to hell. This is personal. This is messing with all of our lives, and you know it. Our reality was stolen from us, and you people know it. And you think it's fine? You must be on some kind of depressant drugs, or you on Valium, Quaaludes, whatever. Have the endorphins kicked in your brain and you're just too happy to realize that the most important thing in your life was stolen? Now, to those of you in the Mandela effect community who are scared, I can't help you. You're just frightened. I can see how that would terrify you, but I don't scare easily. I get angry. And when I'm angry, look out. So until next time, you Mandela affected people know where I stand. If any of you find out anything, you let me know. And I'll personally find a way to get to whoever did this.
So I discovered the map changes. I had to leave work because I was upset. But I just had to share this because this was totally bizarre to me. And I actually broke down crying when I got home because of this man who was on the street. I think he was on drugs. He must have been on drugs. But he looked at me and he just said, and this was right after I had discovered the maps. He looked straight at me and he said, and he's a total stranger on the road. I don't know if he's a hobo, but he seemed younger. He looked at me and he said, "Do you feel like everything has changed and there's nothing you can do about it?" And I said, "Yes!" And then we just like started hugging and crying. And then I left. And I was like, what the? Like, what just happened? Is this real life right now? So when I first discovered the Mandela effect, maybe it was like 1 or 2 days where I thought, oh, this is kind of cool or different, and this is, I was thinking time travel and all these things. And it wasn't until I had seen the differences in the map where I said, holy crap, there's something way different going on that I can't explain, science can't explain, nobody can really explain. If the map you remember in your mind isn't the map that ever existed, there's not really an explanation for that, especially if everyone's remembering the same map that never existed. So I'd seen a few comments about, I first discovered the Mandela effect and it was the logo changes and all that, and then when I was looking through the comments at work, which I won't do again, because I noticed people were talking about the human body being changed and the maps being changed. So when I read those things, actually I think I had read it a day before, but when I was at work I had thought about the map and I looked over and I looked at the map and instantly I got that sinking feeling like, what the fuck is that? That is not the map. And I look over all the different maps. The first thing that stuck out to me was that there's no North Pole, because I remember seeing that on a map. And then Australia, that Australia is way further north than a lot of us remember. I remember it south. I went to Australia in 2011. It wasn't that long ago. That was only 6 years ago. And I can guarantee you, I was looking at Australia on the map. I was flying there, and I remember it south, or more south. So it was in line with New Zealand. So with my coworkers, it was maybe a month or two after that. I didn't want to really mention it to my coworkers because, a lot of people, it's hard to talk about that kind of thing. A lot of people get very angry. I'm sure if you guys have experienced that, and you've experienced people get very angry, like, the world is shattering and they don't want to, especially with the map, like, you don't want to, because the first thing they always say is, oh, the map's wrong, the map's not an accurate projection because the globe, and you gotta split up the globe and flatten it out. It's like, yes, we understand that, but the Mercadian projection hasn't changed. The Mercadian projection has always been the same, and what we're saying is we remember a different Mercadian projection. I work at a travel agency, and I've been noticing more and more people at my work, a lot of them who've been there for years and years and years, are noticing the same things that a lot of us are noticing that are wrong with the map, and they say, I don't remember that. And it was 3 guys. One of them had been working there like 5 years. The other were working there like 4 years. The other one like 2 or 3 years. And one of them was actually like a travel agent. Like, they're actually looking at the globe all day. Not all day, but I mean like they're planning trips around the world. So these people should remember the map that's always been there. They shouldn't be remembering the same map that a lot of us are remembering. But that's what happened. All of a sudden, all three of them stepped back and they were looking at the map and they said, "This map is way off." They're like, "What's wrong with this map?" And then me hearing went over there like immediately, and I was like, what looks different to you? And I wanted like specifics. And they were like, "Oh, that just looks wrong." I'm like, no. What specifically looks wrong to you? And they took a minute. And then I think the first thing they said it was Alaska and Russia were too close, and they don't remember it exactly looking that way. And they're like, "That just looks different to me. Like, I don't remember it looking that way." I was like, "Okay, what else?" And they're like, "Russia looks enormous compared to how we remember it." And I was like, "Okay, anything else?" And then somebody mentioned Australia looks way further north. They're like, "Wasn't Australia like way further south?" And I was like, "I remember Australia further south, and I flew there 6 years ago, so I don't know why it's moved, but it hasn't moved." So I just wanted to share with you guys that story because things are very weird right now, and we need each other. You know, I don't have the answer. I don't have all the answers. Science definitely doesn't have the answers.
And that is constantly happening to us, and that's why we're experiencing all these shifts and these changes. I'll go deeper into all that stuff, but you know, these constant Mandela effect changes, stovetop stuffing. I just saw a thing in a news feed about that the other day, being craft now, and I always remember it as being stovers. Tripped me out because we were literally just at the grocery store a couple nights ago, and I don't remember it being craft. When I saw a can of stovetop stuffing, we don't eat it. We use my wife makes her own. But sure as shit, we went back to the grocery store last night, and every box, like, slapping you in the face with this craft label right on top. I mean, there's no way to miss it. Like, the old Stouffer's was a circular white logo that had red writing, so it kind of blended into the box a little bit. It may have even been black writing, but it kind of blended in, and it was, you know, semi-cursive Stouffer text. But now, it's just straight craft label, you know, craft macaroni and cheese label, right on top in a box. It's crazy. So stuff like that is still happening, and I'm very, very, very convinced that it is due to the CERN particle collider causing that. Either they're opening a gateway, and when they open the gateway, the universe is by nature polarize and collide together, kind of like, you know, they're splitting particles apart in the accelerator, and then the universe is wanting to pull them back together again. That either that's what's going on, or it's going together and then splitting back apart. So it's either a permanent emergence, or it's a merge and then split back apart again. And there's us in the other universe that are affected and aware and are freaked out over there, and then there's those of us that are over here, and we probably switch places consciously. Our conscious switched places instantaneously, because I think our bodies are one physical being, you know, they're one form of energy, but I think our conscious minds are another form of energy. So I think we are living in a string theory based reality. I think that this is a simulated reality of one form or another, well above our understanding of what that is, because of the way things alter and change and have, in my opinion, through history. Probably all of us were affected all the way back to when we were childhood. There was probably bits and pieces of it happening. What I think happened was there was individual entities from other universes, maybe working in conjunction with our own, that were causing the bridges between realities, which is where God and angels and demon and devils come from, right? I think that they're just like aliens too, that they're spiritual entities, not spiritual as we understand it, but they are a form of energy entity, conscious entity that is existing in another simulated reality, running parallel to ours in time as we understand time, and that they are probably far more advanced than we are, and they have already learned how to cross between universes, maybe ours, maybe multiples, without rupturing and destroying those universes or disrupting them. So how that happens, I don't know. But I think what CERN has done and they've been working on it since the 70s, but that in 2009 they achieved the first ever particle collision, which is right around when September 2009, they were successfully able to collide particles. That is when the Mandela effect was first, I think, brought to mainstream attention as major shifts. I believe CERN shut down for a year because they needed to figure out what the hell they did. They knew they were successful in it, so now they need to see what the alpha was. You remember, they're the creators of the World Wide Web. They probably have access through to anything and everything that they want through the internet. So they went out and monitored it all, tried to figure out what was going on, and they discovered Mandela effect. That is where we're getting Mr. Ellis holding up the sign around his neck of Bond 1 and Mandela, and then the sign about, certain employees are happy. I think that's because they knew that they are the reason that the Mandela effect happened. And how that happened was by them colliding the particles together, they created a creative, they broke apart energy to the point of all the way down to the glue that basically holds it together by smashing particles together, right? At that subatomic level. And by doing so, I think what it did is it screwed up our simulation code, our reality code, and caused a emergence of two universes, at least two universes together, potentially even more. But I believe our universe and another universe merged together. Now, why isn't there two of everybody? Why isn't there two of everything? Why is it just we have bits and pieces of past events from what appears to be a different reality, and some residual of it in our that we remember, yet all of us are here? Well, I think my theory, my thinking behind that is that it may go back to when the particles merged together. When they exploded the particles, that the universe tried to self-correct and merge particles back together. I think that there may have been an alternate universe that was doing the exact same thing at the exact same moment, and it took that effect for those two universes to merge together. Now, the reason why some of us are remembering, some of us aren't, I think we literally merged together with another self. I think that's why we had physical changes occur, yet our mental, our conscious is what it is. Now, there may be still two universes that are both muddy messes. There may have been ours with a different one's past and some memories of that, and then there may be theirs with our past and their memories of that. And we all may be going through this in confusion, and us are in the other universe wondering what's going on, and they're in our bodies and vice versa, right? And because we swapped everything and swapped memories, and then when things went back together, went back apart, they didn't set right. There was all these different things that got mixed up. And, it would stand to reason that we got moved there, they got moved here. Yet, again, these simulations were running so parallel that it was just really historical changes that were happening. And that's why some people are alive that were dead, and vice versa. We probably got jumped into their reality where Nelson Mandela was alive and he died in ours. So those of us that are aware are probably sitting in that alternate reality right now, doing the same shit we're doing right now, being Mandela affected. Though only over there, they're probably not calling it Mandela affected, because guess what? Nelson Mandela in their reality is dead. Unless that's the effect for them, but it's probably something else with someone else that is alive, like Stan Lee or who knows, any number of people. Maybe JFK over there is all of a sudden alive. So for them, they call it JFK affected or Kennedy affected. Who knows?
The verses changed. This was not a very easy thing to accept. I didn't eat for days. I was depressed. I was freaking out. I mean, just freaking out. Like, it really shook my whole world. Like, I would just lay in my closet and cry. It was just scary. I mean, it was just scary to really, like, let my mind accept that, Like, the easy thing to do would have been just, find a happy place, go eat a cupcake and have a coffee and, you know, all's good with the world. But I wasn't born that way. I was not born to just accept, like, this narrative of don't ask questions, don't think about anything spiritual or weird, you know, just do your job, go home, everyday cookie cutter life. And I'm thinking to myself, this can't be true. Like, this is stupid, you know, but I get my Bible out and I sit down and I turn to Isaiah 11:6. And when I seen the word wolf where lion used to be, it was almost like a shock, like, to my spirit. When I seen that, it was like I was just jolted with this, like, oh my gosh. Like, I just knew. I knew that I knew that I knew that I knew. This has supernaturally changed. So then the video keeps going on, you know, and it's naming off all these verses, and these are all verses that I knew. And I took my Bible and went to every single verse they were talking about. And verse by verse, minute by minute, my mind was completely blown. My whole world was turned upside down because I had had this Bible for, 15 years. So I had no idea that, my reality was changing, that, mirror, mirror on the wall is suddenly magic mirror on the wall, that C-3PO had a silver leg from the calf down, and that the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz has always had a pistol. It really blows your mind when you really think about it. But see, everybody has that one thing that convinces them, Like, people want to stay in denial and stuff, but, like, just wait till it's that one thing that you know for sure. Wait till it was that book that you read as a kid, that movie that you always watched growing up with your mom or dad. When that changes for you, that one thing, then you're not going to be able to bury your head in the sand. Or maybe you still will. But I don't know what's harder for me, the changes or seeing pretty much almost every single person around me act like the changes either aren't happening or aren't a big deal. And they are happening, and in my opinion, they are a big deal. They're a really big deal.